If you want to double your conversions and sales with the same amount of leads that you currently have without needing to spend more money on ads, then you need to change the way that you sell and start pre-selling. I talked to a room filled with 15 high-level business owners for over 8 hours, and this is by far one of the most powerful sections where I revealed the one thing that we changed to go from having $25,000 months to $100,000 months, all without any extra ad spend or having to get any more leads than we currently did inside of our business. Enjoy the video. Everyone ready?
Yes.
Yeah, come on, man, some more energy. All right, cool. So the section I want to break down with you guys is our $3.7 million VSL framework. Now, the reason we started with this one first is Devin and Lyndon are going to walk you guys through how to get an insane amount of traffic. And I want to ensure that you guys are equipped with the right sales systems to make sure you guys can convert that traffic. Because what's the point of getting all that traffic if you can't convert it, right? So, nice. This is why you need a business partner. It's the real reason. When your clicker doesn't work, he's your clicker. So my goal is to teach you guys how to create the ultimate VSL so you guys can get clients paying you anywhere between $7,000 to $15,000. Who here wants clients paying them $7,000 to $15,000?
Yeah.
All right, come on, man. I like you guys. So there's 3 sections that we want to break down with you guys. Number 1, why you need a VSL, but not just any VSL, the type of VSLs that we've got. Number 2 is the 4-7-11 rule to get instant purchases. You guys are going to like that one. And number 3 is the ultimate 24 to 72 hour conversion process to getting clients. And if all this does is just help you get one more deal a month, that's my job done. At the very least, it'll pay for your weekend. You guys will enjoy your time on the yacht. So, quick story time. May 2021, we had a completely fully booked calendar. Now, I know you guys are probably sitting there thinking, well, isn't that a good thing? It was until we had huge fucking problems. Lack of show-up rates, tons of unqualified leads, people didn't respect our time, and a lot of them forgot why they were even on the sales calls. Very fucking frustrating. And they didn't value our offers or agree with our price points. We found ourselves drowning in objection after objection after objection, and all we wanted is higher paying, more premium clients. We wanted more show-up rates, wanted to scale our business with less people that say I need to think about it. Who has had that fucking objection? Yeah, annoying, isn't it? But in May 2021, after a fully booked calendar, we hit an appalling $26,220. And you guys might be sitting there thinking, it's good, trust me, across the team, it wasn't. So it all changed when we changed just one very, very simple thing. In fact, we had the same amount of leads, same number of bookings, same quality of leads, but in June 2021, we did $56,550. Now, to put that into perspective, that is an increase of 115.68% increase in revenue. What would that do to your business? Insane. So our average client spend went from $2,000 per client that month to $8,000. That's a 4x increase. Multiply that by your offers. So here's some of the reactions that we got. It helped us build massive positioning, ready to purchase clients, and tons of positive responses so that by the time people came on the sessions, versus them saying, I need to think about it, they were already ready to purchase. All thanks to this one thing, this VSL. And which led us to realize this very, very important thing. It led us to realize that 70% of the deal is closed before you even offer your program. And in fact, a study from Google backs this up by breaking down this very important rule, which is a 7-4-11 rule. So all that means is 7 hours of interaction, 11 touch points in 4 separate locations. And once you figured out how to use this stuff to build the ultimate VSL, we naturally injected it with steroids. By the way, I don't use steroids, I don't condone the use. I'm just saying, right? And this was born, the ultimate 24 to 72 hour conversion process to landing $7,000 to $15,000 clients. Who would like to take a look at that?
Yes.
All right, cool. And then this happened. October 2023, we hit over $100,000 and we perfected the shit out of the system so that we could confidently do this over and over and over again. So here's how to do this. Number 1, you need a killer VSL. And people will buy from you once you tick these 3 boxes. How do I know this? I've spent over 10,000 sales calls on the phone. I've closed over 2,000 deals myself, personally. And I can confidently tell you, if there's 3 factors that dictate whether that person will buy it or not, it's number 1, whether they're sold on you. Number 2, whether they're sold on your offer. And number 3, whether they're sold on the fact that you've helped other people in the same position as them overcome the same problem. So how do you do that in the perfect VSL? Well, what I've done here is given you an entire slide-by-slide breakdown. You guys can take a picture of this if you want, but I'm going to be breaking it down more in depth. Okay? No one wants to take a picture? Cool. No one wants to get rich. You guys don't really want to send $15,000 clients.
Go back.
Okay. Cool.
We need to run.
By the way, for those of you guys that didn't take pictures, you won't be getting a copy of these slides. Ready? Yeah, ready, man. So the first thing that you want to do is always introduce a bold promise. The biggest mistake I see so many people making when crafting their BSLs is they talk about who they are, what they've achieved, and that is the wrong way to start your BSL, because the number one thing that your clients care about is themselves and what it is that you can help them achieve. So here's an example from our slide. We pretty much break down what we guarantee is going to happen for them if they watch until the end. Second step is you clarify. Why are they here today? So we break down in our BSL, they're here because we've had a conversation with them on Messenger, on Instagram, and they're struggling with a specific problem that we're here to help them overcome. The next thing is where they're at. You want to insert 5 of their biggest pain points that they're currently experiencing without your offer. Because the whole goal of the BSL is to establish a clear starting point of where they're at, what's currently keeping them stuck, and where they want to get to, which is what I'm going to break down next. So the next thing is where they want to be. You want to insert 5 of the biggest desires of where it is that they want to get to with their businesses. So, for example, our clients at the time had a goal of wanting to get to 10K per month, enjoying their free time with their loved ones, traveling more, etc. You guys get the picture, right? Then you want to introduce a wall, right? Because once you've identified where someone is at, where they want to get to, you want to help them understand clear as daylight what it is that's keeping them stuck in the middle. So a great way to do this is insert 5 to 7 reasons why their current approach is leading to failure. And I'll give you guys a perfect example of this, right? Let's say I'm a personal trainer and I want to sell my client on a high protein diet, but they believe with every ounce in their body that a high carb diet is what's going to get them in shape. As long as they're stuck with that belief, I could give them the high protein diet for free, not even charge them for it, but they're never going to implement it. So in order for them to accept your solution, they must break their old beliefs about their current approach and why it's not going to work in helping them get from A to B. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Next, why the fuck should they listen to you, right? So you want to insert your 3 to 5 biggest accolades. Here's a couple of examples. Because once you've established that they have a problem that they're trying to overcome, they want to know why you are the most suitable person to help them overcome that problem. Which brings me on to the next point, your epiphany bridge story. So this is a concept I learned from Russell Brunson. It is by far one of the most powerful concepts. We've taken it, tweaked it, improved it massively. But it's the one thing that we use on every single one of our sales calls, our client testimonials, our client interviews, and it's the one thing that helps us get incredible amounts of deals over the line. Would you guys like me to break it down?
Of course. Yes.
Okay, a bit more excitement.
Yes.
All right, thank you. So if I go back, everything must start with a backstory, a common desire in mind that you had to your audience, right? And then there must be a wall that you encountered. So for example, I was trying to get into the best shape of my life, and my current workout plan wasn't working out. And there's always 2 ways that you describe the problem. The first one is internal, which is how you felt emotionally inside. The second one is external, the tangible outcome of that problem. So for example, I was trying to get into shape, I went to gym 5 days a week, I just couldn't nail it. And it caused me to spend countless hours. That's an example of external. Internal is I didn't feel confident, etc. You guys get the point. Then they came across this epiphany. And that epiphany is you pre-framing what your solution is. So for example, I realized I couldn't figure out by myself. I needed a one-on-one personal trainer that could help me overcome that problem. And this is where, if you're trying to sell one-on-one coaching in the fitness space, you can insert that epiphany. That one-on-one coach gave me this plan that included A, B, and C thing, pre-positions what your plan looks like, and it helped me overcome this conflict to achieve my achievement, which is a tangible result, and the transformation, which is how you now felt about yourself, right? So in a lot of cases, that could be I lost 10 pounds, and more importantly, I got into the best shape of my life, and I could approach my life with confidence. So, example framework, right? For us, it was, we used to go to events, watch courses, read books, and I believed that that's what was going to get me from A to B. Similar thing to our target audience. Here's what happened. So my bank account used to look like. It doesn't look like that anymore, right? But the point is, went into negative bank balance, realized the same strategies that my audience were using weren't effective. And here's what I started to do differently, right? I learned from an expert because I want them to understand and get pre-sold on the idea of learning from an expert. I stopped using horrible opt-in pages and standstills, Larissa.
I don't have one anymore.
Anymore, right? We changed it. And started filling up my calendar with income-producing activities, because these are all the things that our current target audience are not currently doing, but we want them to adopt and understand the importance of, so that when we offer our solution, they're already primed and ready to purchase. Thus, started realizing sales isn't so bad. And then here's what happened as a result. Show the outcome, show the transformation, show the achievement, right? That's the tangible, and this is the internal, right? Traveled the world, jumped out of a plane, did a bunch of crazy stuff, right? And this brings me on to the next point, which is your brand story. A lot of you guys have great offers, but you guys are underselling your offers because there's no story around your business or your brand, right? So when we break the Epiphany Bridge framework down, we start to share with our clients that, look, because one-on-one coaching has been so effective for us, we decided how many other people would be in the same position as us, which is why we decided to launch the Ultimate Coaching Program. This is where Straightline was born, right? And once you tell a story behind your business and brand and why you launched it, it resonates and has so much more weight with your audience. The client testimonials, we also use mini Epiphany Bridge frameworks, right? So once we launch this program, here's all the clients that help. Now, a key tip I want to share with you guys has helped me close so many deals is this one thing. You want to use your client testimonials with the Epiphany Bridge framework. For example, when Justice first met us, he had the same common objection to you guys. He was scared. He said he needed to think about it. He said it was a lot of money. It would have put him under. He'd already bought every single program under the sun. Yet he still did it because he was in this cycle of experiencing the same problems as you guys. And now that we've helped him build our X plan, he's been able to overcome it and achieve this transformation. When you share your testimonials like that, especially prior to sales calls, other people feel confident knowing that, look, even though I had these objections, I'm still confident that if I move forwards, I will get the desired outcome I'm looking for. Make sense, guys?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Then we share an option close, right? Which is first inserting an undesirable outcome, including them being stuck in their current ways. So for example, you've got two options, right? The first option is you can go out there and keep doing A, B, C, D thing that they're currently doing. Or the second option, which is learn from an expert, work with someone one-on-one that can help you build the ultimate brand, funnel, etc. Right? So as you can see, here's a few examples of this, the hard way. The next one is a straight line way, which is what we want them to adopt. And then pre-session requirements, right? Which is something I'm going to dive a little bit deeper into in just a sec. But before I do, we share with them a few steps that we want them to go through prior to jumping on the session. For example, watching our client interviews, watching our client testimonials in full, responding back to us. These things I want to break down in a little bit more detail. And then finally, you top it off with your bold guarantee. So in our case, the guarantee that we give to our clients is we guarantee to help them achieve $10,000 in 90 days or continue to work with them one-on-one until they do. So the minute they step on that session, they step on that session with full confidence, knowing that if they were to make a purchasing decision, it's going to be worth its weight in gold. So here's how we doubled this process down. Before I break down how we injected it with steroids, I'm going to take a quick sip of water. Not because I'm nervous about steroid abuse, but I'm joking. All right, cool. So my favorite part about this is we took the process and injected it with steroids. And now it looks something like this, right? Bunch of steps that lead to money. That's a simple way of explaining it. But if you want the complex, in-depth version, right? The 4 separate locations to follow the 4-7-11 rule, right? It's Instagram, Zoom, giving them access to a free course, and YouTube, which Lyndon is going to dive a lot deeper into later on. Right, Lyndon?
Yes, sir.
Don't let us down. And then you've got the 11 touch points, right? So the first touch point is the organic DM, where our setters build an incredible relationship with the leads that we're reaching out to. The second touch point is your profile funnel. So let me ask you guys, what is the first thing that you do when you receive a DM from someone? Unless it's a hot chick.
Like click into their profile.
Click into their profile, right? So when you click into their profile, just go back one, please. When you click into their profile, everything is strategically placed to tick those same 3 boxes that we spoke about earlier. Selling them on you, selling them on the fact that you've helped other people in the same position as them, selling them that your offer is going to help them overcome their problems. Story highlights, your content, every single thing that you post on your Instagram profile completes your profile funnel, which Devin is going to be diving into a lot deeper later on as well. The third touch point is the setter will book them in, right? And as soon as the setter books them in, they're going to start receiving Calendly workflows. Now, we've strategically placed them to give them free guides, PDFs, client interviews, and more importantly, access to a free mini course once they agree to booking in a session as a free gift. Number 4, and this is a very important touch point that is so overlooked, right? It's called permission to send VSL. So one thing that makes our VSL extremely different is most of the guys that you see that build out a VSL, they tend to send people to VSL first and then let them book in on their own accord. Where we do things massively differently is we build a relationship in the DM first through our appointment says, which we're going to touch on a little bit later on. And once they've built an incredible relationship, understood every single problem, challenge, they offer them a free strategy session to help them with that and say, well, look, now that you're booked in, we'd like to send you a short video which is going to run you through everything that you're going to be experiencing on that session. The watch rate is 3 times higher. So many people are a lot more responsive. And I'll tell you guys a quick story. When I went skydiving, they sent me a bunch of shit to watch before the skydiving experience. I didn't watch any of it. When I actually paid them and I had the skydiving experience booked, I watched every fucking video because I didn't want to be that one statistic that looks stupid and end up dying. The point is, when people have made a commitment, they're so much more likely to actually show up and follow through with the content that you give them, hence increasing your conversion rates. Touch point 5. I know I look very handsome here, right? But it's your stories, right? So we frequently follow up with our results, client results, and share a bunch of value. Again, Devin will be running a lot deeper into this. Touch point 6, your content, right? Again, where we recycle the same things. Selling people on you, selling people on your results, selling people on why you are the right person to help them overcome a specific problem. Touch point 7, the pre-call VSL, which we've now broken down in a lot more depth and detail slide by slide. Touch point 8, your setter finishes by following up after they complete the VSL. And this is by far one of the most underrated steps that very few of you guys will probably do, right? This has led to so many different conversions for us and people that literally get on the phone within 15 minutes, make $7,000 to $15,000 purchasing decisions. As soon as someone has watched the VSL, the setter will ask them, well, look, what is it that you resonated most with from the video? And they will pour their hearts out, explaining every single problem, challenge, every single aspect that they resonated to, whether it was a specific client that we've worked with, whether it's a specific problem that keeps them up at night. And once they do that, the setter continues to build a relationship and excite them towards attending the session. Touch point 9, client interviews, right? Now, as you guys can see, this YouTube video only has 428 views. You guys might be thinking, well, hardly anyone's seen that. However, this same client interview has generated us well over 6 figures in 3 months, right? Who here would be upset if they had a YouTube video with 400 views that made them a cool 6 figures? Yeah, neither would I, right? So the reason this works so well is it builds the hours of interaction and people can see other people who are also on the fence, right? So in this client interview with Larissa, I asked the very specific questions based on how did you feel about getting started with us? You know, what were some of the things that were holding you back? And Larissa touches on the investment side of things. It was a scary decision, things that other people are going to experience when they're on the phone. So why not get that out of the way first so by the time they're on the phone with you or your sales closes, they're already ready to move forwards and purchase. Touch point 10 is the pre-session testimonial mashup. Now remind me to show you this later on. It's a quick 3-minute video which goes into depth and has nothing but a quick testimonial mashup of all of our clients and ensures that 30 minutes before, the setters message them saying, look, show up to the session. I would like to share some case studies with you beforehand. They watch the video in full, and by the time they show up to the session, they're red hot, ready to convert. One thing I want to mention to you guys as well is we don't even use this process for warm traffic. This isn't inbound leads. This isn't people that have seen us before. This is ice cold traffic that we're converting into red hot buyers that are spending $7,000 to $15,000 with us within 24 to 48 hours. Sometimes 72. You guys get the point, right? Touch point 11, handsome guy right here. How can you not buy with a view like that? But it's the actual one-on-one session and the sales call. And if you've done everything correctly, by this point, it becomes so much more easier to interact. You have so much on the prospect and understanding where they're at, what they're struggling with, and the fact that they want your offer already. So by the time you're in a session, you guys have a much warmer relationship and they're ready to move forwards. Now, what if you've done all of this and you still don't convert? Well, another study shows, well, look, fuck the study. The point is, people are forgetting, right? I don't remember what I ate 3 weeks ago today. The point is, I've been on several different sales calls. where I asked people, I was like, hey man, do you remember exactly what we broke down on the offer? Like, yeah, I understand. I'm like, all right, cool, well, explain it back to me. Yeah, we spoke about how our day was and what we ate, and they have no fucking clue, most of the time, right? And the study, going back to it, shows that people only remember 21% of what they've learned. So put that into perspective with your offers, the problems that you help them figure out, and how many people actually remember a lot of that stuff. Which is why Touchpoint 12 is a post-sales call VSL, right? So we've designed a very specific post-call VSL that will reiterate their pain points, re-explain your offer to them with the key benefits that are going to be the most impactful to them, and go back, thank you. Epiphany Bridge storytell the testimonials once again and introduce your team. What the aim of this presentation is to get them to accept working with you already start to experience what it feels like to work with you through your client testimonials, through you reiterating the pain, through you giving them an exact walkthrough. So if you guys sell courses, a great way to do this is, hey, congratulations and welcome on board, assume close, walk them through the back office, this is everything you guys are going to be getting access to, etc., etc. If you guys do a one-on-one coaching, then even show them some of the one-on-one coaching calls, give them a snippet, give them a quick win. Whether you do this yourself and you're closing yourself, you're going to close a ton more deals. If your closers start to do this, you guys are going to start to make a lot more money.
Wait, is that your closer making that video? Is that what you're saying?
No, you make the video.
Right.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, sorry, let's play off as well. Just up to the last point about the what's it called? Kind of taking through the onboarding process. This is prior to them closing or after they close?
No, prior to them closing. So you get a lot of people in the sales process that don't buy right then and there on the phone. Maybe they booked in a follow-up call, whatever the case is. So this is what you use that for.
Okay, so prior to them closing, you give them a snippet of what it looks like, or what it will look like
No,
when they do close.
so let's say you spoke to John, and John said, Yusuf, I want to buy your Airbnb coaching program. But, I'm going to need to wait until my paycheck, on X date. And you said, okay, well, look, what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you an entire breakdown of our offer, and then you send in the video that ticks all these boxes.
Okay, cool. Appreciate it.
Yeah. All right, cool. And then, if you do all of this and still don't make significantly more money, D owes you $100,000 cash and a Rolex watch. Any questions, guys?
I was going to ask you, when you said the post-call VSL, do you make it individually tailored and obviously say their name to make them feel like it's made for them? But would you have time to go through, let's say you have 20 calls booked in a day, would you have to make 20 videos for each individual one, or would it be a generic video?
It's a generic one. So, good thing to do, if you're going to create it, create some personalized ones to some specific people based off a sales call, and then you'll get a feel for what the most common problems are amongst most of the people, and then you can start to create something evergreen. If you already have a good enough understanding of your audience, you can just create something evergreen, test it, tweak it, adapt it as you go.
One more thing quickly.
Go for it.
With the closers, would you not recommend the closers to do it because they have the call with them, and obviously it's a familiar face. Obviously they would see me from my personal brand, but the closers, obviously they've had an hour call with 45-minute call. Would you not think they would be good as well to send one? What do you think?
Do you know what? The best way to do it is a split test. So we actually had a closer that even though we had the post-call VSL, he would record personalized Zoom videos as well on top. So I think it's always good to have as a staple piece that they can always reference back to, because you're the face of the brand in the business at the end of the day. Yeah. But having your closers to go the extra mile and do that could definitely increase your conversions as well.
I have a question.
Go for it.
So you mentioned the VSL funnel that you guys have. It's mainly cold traffic that you kind of take them through, which is fine. But with you guys' offer, it's more of a biz op thing. So if someone's got a course or a program, whatever the case may be, and looking to scale it, you guys get the opportunity for these guys to scale it further. Whereas if someone is looking more, not biz op, that's the wrong word I use today. But if someone's looking to start a business, they haven't started it before, but they're just interested. Could that same VSL work if they're not already in that space? Does that make sense?
Yeah. So what you're basically asking is, if they're not in the space already, will that VSL framework still work?
Yeah, because they're not really spending the most amount of time with you. I know there's different touch points in that, but in terms of the time they're spending with you isn't a crazy amount of time. Maybe I'm wrong with that, but you can correct me.
Yeah. Rephrase the question one more time so I can
Okay,
get
cool.
clarity.
So, alright. Obviously, I got a coaching business that helps people start and build an Airbnb business.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, these guys have never done that before. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, for this sort of funnel, because they've never done that before and they've not really got any pain points related to the struggles of what comes with that,
Yeah.
could the same thing work just as effective compared to someone that's already in the industry that's experiencing those pains?
Yeah, they're already messaging you saying that they want to start an Airbnb business, right? Cool. So, and they probably have a lot of questions before they actually get started. What does it look like? How does it work? Stuff like that. So that's something that you probably want to put in your pre-call VSL. Just explaining like the easy way of how it works. Like you don't want to overcomplicate it. Basically, just make it sound like shit easy because they're probably going to have more questions when it comes to the phone. But the challenges that most people will have when they first want to start an Airbnb business, especially like if they've never done it before, how much money does it cost? Do I need to own property? All that stuff. So when you're laying it out on the easy step is you don't have to own property, you don't have to do this, you don't have to do this, and just pre-send that before you get on the phone. Yeah.
Alright, cool. No, that
And,
makes sense.
and I think the set of pain points is going to be slightly different as well. So maybe like they'll have different pain points. Maybe they've tried property. Property has too much of a,
Investment capital.
investment capital down, etc.
The problem I face is that like people that we usually close have been following us for months. You know what I mean? They've been following us for 3, 4, 5. Like we do get people that close that have just come across us, but it's rare. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I was kind of asking that. If someone's just come across us literally yesterday
Yeah.
and they go through this funnel, is that taking them from 0 to 100 or 0 to 80 to 90? Do you feel what I'm saying?
Yeah. It definitely accelerates the process, bro. Because the whole point of it is you have to ask yourself, well, what is happening in between the next 3 to 6 months in order for them to now want to make a purchasing decision? It's just building trust in the fact that you can help them overcome a problem, and then you've helped other people that have been in the same situation. So you're taking that 3 to 6 month process and you're accelerating it down into 24 to 72 hours. Because the same thing that happens, it's just the process that speeds it up. You know what I mean?
Makes sense, yeah. Appreciate
Yeah.
that.
I just want to add to what Yusuf was asking. So, obviously, it's a B2C offer, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so with me when I was running the Amazon FBA program, you don't really need to narrow down on specifics to do with the business that you're doing. It's more so to do with their personal pain points. So, obviously, Airbnb is to make money, right? What's their struggles when it comes to not making enough money? It doesn't really need to be. I don't really need to pin down the problems to do with Airbnb when their problems are personal related. You know what I mean?
Of course. No, I appreciate that. Yeah. I love that.
Yeah. Cool.
Question about the post-call VSL. When do you guys send it? Is it literally the same day after the call, or is it the next day?
So I'm assuming, after you or your closers pitch your clients or potential clients to offer, you guys send them an email breakdown that includes everything included in your offer?
No.
Okay.
So assuming they don't close yet?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I'll walk you through the process. App setter is messaging them, and then once they've been booked in, they'll be like, congratulations, you're booked in. Please watch this VSL before we get on the phone. Can I send you the link? Permission to send.
No, he's saying you said
post-call.
post-call.
Post-call after, yeah? So, what was the question, sorry?
Simple.
When do you guys send it?
Yeah, so as soon as they get off the phone. So even the closers, look, I want to send you something exclusive in your email, for when you do get started with us, etc. So it's like an assumed close. You're going to have every single little insight. I've given you like a free gift. Even one thing that you could do is test and tweak the process, but always change it and make it better. How can you incentivize them to want to click that? We've put in a PDF, we've given you the script that you're going to need once you join our program anyways, but we wanted to give it to you as like an intro gift.
Yeah.
So
And how long is that video that you guys have?
it's about 15 minutes.
15.
Yeah,
Okay.
You can shorten it
Sure.
depending on what you want.
What's the max? Oh, sorry, John.
Nah, go for it.
No, that's cool, bro.
Go on.
Go on, you go first, because mine was
No, that's cool. No, I was just going to quick one. What's the maximum amount of duration that the VSL should be, basically?
Pre-call VSL, 20 minutes, no longer. It was just turned into a webinar at that point. But post-call VSL is relatively short because you've built such a great relationship. You don't want to overwhelm them with too much information. You want to give them the main key points to basically go off. So I'd say 7 to 15 minutes is a good period of time.
Yeah, I was just going to say 7 to 15 minutes. 7 seems a bit better, because I was thinking, imagine they've been on a whole hour call with you, 45 minutes, however long the close it takes with them, and they're not they're unqualified, or they're being very hesitant, and then you're spamming them with another 15 minutes. Would that work? I was just thinking, because we've never done it before. I'm thinking of implementing it, but I'm thinking if I send that to them, they'll then come back to me and be like, "Oh, fuck off, leave us alone, stop spamming us now."
No.
And that's why we don't do that, and I've avoided it.
Yeah.
Do you know what it is? We started with a 7-minute one as well. Yeah. And then as we started to learn our audience a little bit better, we can now touch on a lot more pain points because we understood it. So we'll go for 15 minutes and then 20 minutes. I think we even had one that was at
45 minutes or some shit.
Yeah, yeah.
Even that works, but it wasn't that great.
But I think what you're doing is
Yeah.
perfect because you're leaving a lot of money on the table. Because we do follow-ups after the calls, like we'll call them up again. But
Yeah.
I think that probably adds to the follow-up and then
Yeah.
it might then increase the conversion rate. With them.
100%. And do you know what it is? Permission to sell is a massive thing that will help you overcome that problem with the people that might tell you to fuck off afterwards. And just your closers basically turn around saying, look, you know, now that we've had a great session, even though you can't get immediately started today, I know we're looking to make a start around 1 to 2 weeks. Would you like me to send over something that's going to be exclusive, help you with XYZ thing? And then frame it that way. And then when they send it over, now it's a reference point for follow-up as well. Hey, just check in, did you watch that video in full? What related to you? Da, da, da. And then go from there.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
2 good questions. Sorry, I've not been asked a lot of questions.
Go for it, man. Ask 100 questions.
No, that's cool. So, first one, between the time that the person's booked in the call
Yeah.
to the actual call itself, what are the things that you actually give to them? That's number
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
Second, for the people that don't close, even after the post on VSL funnel, what does your sequence look like to kind of reloop them and get them back into your world and be booked in on the call, basically?
Okay. First question was, what do you
Like,
what do you send them before?
Yeah, exactly, before the call,
Call?
yeah.
And then Z will answer what happens after the call.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
bye.
Cool. So prior to the call, the main things that we send them is obviously we book them in, and once they're officially booked in, we invite them to our community as one of the free bonuses and gifts. We give them access to a free mini course that we basically created that is another indoctrination process to reiterate the main aspects that we need to adopt to get results in our program, like the funnels, etc.
They only get the mini course if they show up
Sure, so what? The call?
to the call.
Ah, I get you.
Yeah, if they don't, then they get an email saying you missed out. Here's what you missed out on. Make sure you show up to the next one. Click here to reschedule.
Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah. And then other than that, client interviews, testimonials, and a pre-call testimonial done. And that's pretty much it.
So, access to community, mini course, and on testimony mashup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the VSO itself.
But even if they booked in like the next day, so if someone books in today and they booked in for tomorrow, that's a
No, of
Yeah.
course, and that's why we get our setters to typically aim for like
Yeah,
a
we get them to book in
48-hour
48
process.
hours, 72 hours ahead of time.
never next day.
Really,
Bro,
unless
always
they're really
fully
saying
booked.
like, I just want to buy, like I don't even want to, like we'll just get them on the phone that day.
Okay.
Yeah.
I get you.
But
Okay.
we ideally want them to go through the process of seeing them.
Okay, that makes sense. No, I appreciate that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of
Lots of
course.
last questions.
Nice.
Okay, I have 2 questions. The second one's kind of confusing, so I'll save it for last. The first question is, I onboarded a new setter. Someone's training her. She's awesome, but she's booking in people. I'm not taking many calls right now, so she's booking in people like a week or more in advance because
Okay.
my schedule right now.
Yeah.
So they're gonna get the VSL before, but because it's such a long window of time, I feel like it's a good opportunity to send them more stuff in the meantime.
Yeah.
Would you recommend, since there's like a week or 2 before their call, to send them testimonials and other things in that time?
100%.
Would you recommend?
And
Okay.
even in some cases, I would ask someone maybe 48 hours before the session, hey, quick question, you remember the video I sent you prior to the session? Did you watch it? If so, what did you resonate to, learn about it, etc., etc.? Or get your setter to do that. And in most cases, a lot of people are going to say, oh, it was a while ago, I don't really remember too much. Hey, I definitely recommend you to give it another quick watch before we start a session. That way you can get the most out of the session, etc., etc. And we've done that countless times, and it helps people massively.
Okay. And so would you recommend the VSL first and then a client testimonial?
100%.
Okay. Have you ever had people that watch either of those and then they basically, they're hesitant to hop on the call to invest? I guess we've talked about this, but they
Yeah.
try and cancel.
Yeah.
Because they're now scared because they know that you're going to pitch them.
Yeah, they're also scared because they know that they're probably going to want to buy whatever it is that you're
For
selling.
sure.
Because they're scared. They're like,
Yeah.
right, shit, she's got a good offer, I didn't expect this, she's got good client testimonial results. So it's something that your setters can overcome by simply sending them a message saying, look, regardless of whether you purchase something from us or not, still show up to the session, you're going to get incredible value, we're going to help you with A, B, and C, and then your closers or yourself can handle that objection with the phone.
Okay, cool. My second question, the confusing one,
This
is
one's for you, Z.
okay. Right now, my call is framed like a strategy call,
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
the way you do it. But I found that just doesn't work super well, and maybe it's
Yeah,
because I'm not an
Sorry.
amazing.
Bro, just move this to the camera. That's what business partners are for.
Sorry,
Okay,
no,
so
go.
maybe it's because I'm not an amazing closer yet, but I found when I was doing a strategy call, it just was kind of going crazy and long and I was all over the place, but keeping it more simple, like a clarity call where basically the clarity they're getting is that they don't have clarity. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of the epiphany of the call is I actually don't know what the heck I'm doing.
Yeah.
So I've kind of switched it up recently, the way I'm framing and pitching the call, and it's working really well. And I'm not even calling it a strategy call because I don't want to promise them that I'm going to build this complex strategy out for them.
Yeah.
And so I feel like I need to refilm my VSL. I don't know if you've watched mine in its entirety, but essentially, I think the way I'm framing the call on the VSL is you're going to get this incredible value and I'm going to build out this strategy for you.
Yeah.
And I honestly don't want to promise that
Yeah.
because it's just not the way I'm running my calls now. I'm keeping it more simple. It's a lot more effective. So how would you recommend I go about framing that in the VSL of like, you're still going to get clarity, but I'm not building you out this like complex strategy. If that makes sense.
Makes sense. So, first and foremost, as far as calling it a strategy session or a clarity call, they both have the same end outcome. I think different people have different ways to approach it. What's worked especially well for us is giving them a ton of value, but the way we strategically break down the value that we break down is to help them get to the point where they realize, holy shit, I don't know what I'm doing with A, B, and C thing.
Yeah.
And as far as pre-framing it, you don't have to necessarily say, oh, you're going to get a ton of value from it. Say, look, I can give you all the value in the world, but if you don't have clarity on what you're doing first, it's never going to work for you anyways. So my goal by the end of the session is to give you ultimate clarity on where you're at, where you want to get to, and all the things that are keeping you stuck in the middle. And I think that's an easy, simple way to frame it.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Of course.
Is there anything else that you guys do to like maximize? Because I know you mentioned after they're booking a call using the VSL, a few of bits and bobs. Like, the problem I face is that a lot of these guys just don't watch it. They don't bother watching it.
Yeah.
Even if you check in with them, say, hey, how's the VSL? Like, is there anything you guys do to kind of increase that chance of them actually watching it?
Do you know what? I think your closers, like you got closers, right? And then having them follow up with them prior to the session to make sure that they've watched it. I'll give you a perfect example, bro, and I had a first-hand experience with this. And I remember I booked in a call with someone, and I asked them, look, have you watched the video? And this guy was fucking rude. He didn't give a shit like about anything I had to say. He said, just tell me the offer, pitch me and sell me. I said, look, with all due respect, I'm happy to break down any offers, but did you watch the video? He said, no. I said, do you know who we are? He said, no. I said, so why would you want someone that you don't know to break down an offer for you? You're just going to say no anyways. You're going to waste your time, you're going to waste my time. So let's book in for another time. I'll send you the video. If you watch it in full, you can book in another session. The guy paid in full the next session after watching the video. So make sure that you have your closers follow up with them prior to the session and ask them if they watched the video.
Not the sellers.
Closers.
Setters or closers, isn't it?
Yeah,
Doesn't matter.
either one. But if you make it a closer's responsibility, you can incentivize them with the fact that they're going to be higher converted leads. For example, they're going to make more commission, make more sales, etc. You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah. So just don't have, like, if they haven't watched it, don't have to call, reschedule it then until they do watch it.
You know what? In some cases, I'll play devil's advocate here. Like, some people haven't watched it because they genuinely haven't had the time to do so. But if someone, like, you know, they're just taking a piss, they're not watching it on purpose, then you kind of want to encourage them to do so.
But if they haven't had the time, would you still have to call them anyways?
Yeah.
You would.
Yeah. But in most cases, just do your absolute best to maximize it.
Just one thing to add on to that works for me, I don't know if it could work for you, is maybe like tell them before they obviously jump on the call, tell them that there's something in the BSL that's really going to help them with the call. So what I like to get them to say is, look, we've got this really good gem in there that's going to really help you out, whether you join the program or not. It's going to teach you a shit ton that you're not going to find anywhere else. And that kind of forces them to go and try and find the gem. And in the VSL, as you say, here's 2 gems. So I give them gem number 1 and gem number 2. And then it forces them to at least watch up until that, and that kind of works for me. But still, show operates a hard thing, but also getting them to watch the VSL is a hard thing.
That's a big shout, man. Appreciate that. Yeah.
100%.
What's your guys' pre-qualifying process look like? Do you do it at all? If so, do you do it in the, does Setter do it? Do you do it in the calendar lead form, like where you pre-qualify? And do you cancel? If so, what do you cancel?
Good question. So we started off the typical, you know, here's a bunch of questions, answer it, get yourself booked in. What we found is that most people are kind of lazy and they wouldn't fill it in. And now social media has become even more addictive to the point where people have 3-second attention spans. So even while they might be filling it out, they might get a notification, Mehdi Million's just posted, they might want to click on my story and check out what I'm doing. So you realize not as many people fill it out. So we just get our setters to pretty much qualify them, ask them all the questions, and then send screen recordings of the chat to the closers. That way the closers can kind of just go for everything.
Yeah. And what do you cancel? Like if they say I have no money, do you just straight up cancel, or do you still assume that they might have something to take the call?
Yeah, even if they say we don't have money, or I'm still thinking I'm not looking to buy another program right now. We'll just overhandle that objection. Just be like, look, totally understand, regardless of whether you're going to buy from us or not. You still jump on a call and get a lot of value. Making sure that they've watched the VSL as well. And once you're on the phone, it's just understanding like why they don't want to buy, or if it's money, then there's finance options and different things. Yeah.
Quick question, do you ask permission to send them client testimonials? How would you go about that if, like, let's say I have 10 days before their first call, they get the VSL, and then I want to send them the testimonials? Do you ask? What do you do?
Yeah, 100%. Always ask.
Okay.
Always ask, hey, I'm going to send this over. Does that sound good? Good way to do it is personalize it. So I'll give you an example. If it's a female client that's been in a similar position to maybe yourself, I might say, look, or my setters will say, hey, you remind me a lot of our client Larissa, who's worked with us, who's in a similar position to you. Would you like to see her case study or success story prior to our session? I think you find it extremely valuable. Yes? Okay. And then they'll watch it. If it's a male, then do the same. But yeah, always ask for permission, send it over. And more importantly, also tell them to message you once they've completed going through it, to get their reaction, initial thoughts, because they're always going to mention 1 or 2 points to you that reveals their buying triggers. For example, Larissa and I were promoting the same course, and she found this strategy, and this is exactly what I'm looking for. Now you know, or your closers know, when they're on the phone, they want to touch on that main key point.
Okay, cool. Do you ever have people that say, no, don't send it to me?
I don't remember the last time I had someone.
Okay, I don't know.
I'm sure we've had them, but if they don't want to see it, then,
They probably don't want to get on a call either.
Yeah.
Just leave it there.
Yeah, for sure. Cool.
This is a slight, not really off topic, it's a bit on topic, but like in terms of getting people to open up on the DMs, all that sort of stuff, obviously you guys have clients like worldwide. Like, do you find that people in the UK are a lot more closed off when it comes to just opening up and that sort of thing compared to like other people around the world?
100%.
In terms of like the income goals or how much money they make.
Like, yeah, just like, how did you find this? How was your, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, they're scared of HMRC, bro. that's the best way to put it. But they're a little bit more closed off. When it comes to UK leads, do we ask like different questions when it comes to income, would you say? Or like...
We might ask, the DM setters might ask a question like, how much do you currently need to make a month to replace what you currently make right now? It's indirect, but it's less offensive than how much do you make a month right now?
not really that, but more sort of like, because you mentioned, once they watch the VSL, okay, how did, what did you take away from that? What was your like, finding out their pain points, basically.
Yeah.
Like, do you find a lot of like people in the UK, they're a lot more open to kind of like telling you their pain points and the biggest struggles compared to people around the world?
I think because we're from the UK, we understand the tonality that they're giving back to us. Maybe we don't recognise it as much as someone maybe from the US or Australia. Might be the thing. But the only thing that I've really seen that they close off on about is if I'm asking them, how much money do you have to basically invest into the program, they might be quite reserved in terms of like their investment capital or just haven't got much money or whatever it is. I know they're lying, but they just want to close off on that. Do you know what I'm saying? Whereas a lot of people from around the world are a lot more open about those things. So yeah, that's what I was really.
Yeah, appreciate that.
What's different about the UK? Am I missing something?
The people,
They're more closed off.
they're a bit more. I wouldn't say the whole of the UK. I'd say more London. They're a bit more like reserved. I don't know what it is.
More reserved, they're
I
more
can't
closed
explain.
off, they're more like just.
Sort of rain.
Yeah, that's why I have to ask that, because
Yeah.
I know how the people in the UK are. I don't see these guys do pick clients from the States and all around the world.
Yeah.
So,
Interesting.
yeah.
I've had trouble getting people on calls from Australia. I don't
Okay.
know why.
Interesting. Maybe it's a time zone difference.
Time
I've
zones, yeah.
worked with them, but
Time zones, they're probably cranky in the morning. They're not trying to.
yeah, I don't know.
Maybe can I add one thing? Might be a valid for you. Me and you, we had this conversation when we went to the gym like a month or two ago. We really struggled with show up rate. So like our team was pretty good at booking people in, but then when it came to people showing up, we genuinely, there was a point where it was like, I think 45% or 40% show up rate. So we're like, right, okay, we're losing so much money, it's pointless. So then this is what we've done, which is basically what you guys have got. So the VSL is perfect. The VSL just copy exactly what Mehdi's teaching. The only difference that we have is we actually have hired a specific VA who's basically an appointment setter, but he doesn't do the appointment setting, he just does the nurturing. And his job is literally just to nurture those leads that have been booked in for a meeting, and then also follow up with people who didn't show up, or who showed up but didn't convert. And he's from South Africa, so the pay is not so much because the conversion's good there. And we give him 1% commission on everything that converts. So he's better incentivized to make sure that every fucking lead shows up. And I swear to God, by the way, I'm not exaggerating, our show up rate is around 90% right now.
Wow.
It's insane. Yeah, and yeah, so it doesn't cost as much and it's pretty simple.
Would you say that sort of guy like would have to have the same skill set as like a typical appointment setter, or would you say they can be a bit lower?
So here's the thing about working with people in South Africa, because, and this will answer your question by the way, because their English is perfect, so there's no like grammatical or spelling mistakes. The time zone is practically the same as here in Europe, kind of the same. But the biggest thing is culturally. So the way they talk, at least the appointment set is like similar age to me. So the way he talks is exactly like me. That's the biggest thing. So as long as this person that you hire sounds like you. So for example, if you hire somebody from like India and they're like, okay, sir, like, can you call me So just bear that in mind.
So they're on the phone, so they're not just messaging.
No, the guy I'm talking about, he's just messaging him.
Oh, okay, so it doesn't really need to sound like very articulate or
No.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
The last thing I'll mention, by the way, this is super important, we use ManyChat, because otherwise if you didn't use ManyChat, you'd have to have the guy log into your own Instagram and that would be long. So with ManyChat, you can assign people to different so I have like 4 people logged into my Instagram. So people think they're messaging me, they're actually talking to 2 different people on my account. But yeah, so anyway, so once we set the appointment, this person then gets assigned to this guy on ManyChat, and then it's only him that talks to him back and forth. And this answers your question, which was people don't watch the stuff, right? Which is very common, like why would they? They don't know who you are, what's your offer, they don't care about you. Same with me. They don't know who I am, they don't care about my offer, anything. So that's why you need to make sure you have one guy specifically talking to him back and forth until the meeting.
Okay, so they're not talking to them as them, they're talking to them as you.
Yes, correct.
Okay,
Correct.
cool.
Yeah.
Appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
No worries.
We need to get Marcus up here for a guest speaker section. Alright guys,
quick break, yeah?
we'll take a quick 15-minute break and then we reconvene.